Hey there, Tad Hargrave from Marketing for Hippies. I'm here at the Happy Startup Summer Camp. I'm in the right place. And what a beautiful setup they have. It's an annual event that they do. They're based in the UK, so I'm here in just near Battle, near Hastings in southern England, just close to Brighton. Some of you may know. Got a little Soul Cafe tent. This is the main eating area tent. Over there, there's a coffee cab, little old cab that's been renovated, turned into a little coffee shop on wheels. Purpose pod. And here's the, I'll get quiet when I walk by here, but this is the teaching hall where all the sessions are happening. There is a sauna, hot tub. And I want to talk about hub marketing because I've got an example from a recent consultation. So stay with me. Just gonna walk by here. So I was just in Wakefield and ended up having a conversation with somebody, and I thought, boy, this example is almost everything you need to know about hub marketing. It was so rich, there were so many ideas, and I wanted to pass it on to you because there's a lot to say. Check it out. Play sign. That's Abby, who is one of the main coordinators here. Got a swimming hole. I'm getting to the example. Fire pit. This place is just proper setup. And of course, the tiny love shack. So, okay, as I was saying, there's an example. There was somebody who in Wakefield, and he does primitive skills foraging stuff. And we began to talk about how to grow that part of his business, how to get more clients. And I thought you might find it interesting what we came up with. So let me just set myself up here. There we go. Okay, by the way, I'm sitting here. This is where the volunteer staff are. I'm doing some free coaching on the side. I'll probably do about 15 one-on-one sessions. There'll probably be some videos to come out about those sessions, and I'm just sitting here by the lake. Okay, that's the longest preamble I've ever had in a video, but I think you'll find it worth it. So this fellow does foraging, is interested in working with adults around primitive skills, traditional skills, and food and plants and all this. But how do you market it? How do you get clients? The mistake a lot of people make is they have whatever email list they have, if they even have one, and that's the only place they promote to. But of course, let's just say you have 1,000 people on your email list and you promote something. Well, the first time you promote anything, there's going to be a spike, right? And then it's just going to drop off and trail off because the people who are interested, they're going to join. And the rest aren't interested or are not interested now. So that first email skims the cream off the top. The second email, you might get a few of the dregs who didn't make it. But by that third email, there's no response at all. And what this means is we're going to have to go farther afield. We're going to have to reach out in order to get more clients. And that means other people's lists. So we started to brainstorm what some of these hubs might be. And you might just think about this yourself. If you were the marketing consultant and you were brought in to come up with ideas of where could you reach adults who might be interested in foraging in the wild for, wild mushrooms and plants, what would you think of? What would you suggest? Well, we just came up with some initial ones. And here's what I remember. I mean, we had everything from yoga studios to organic food shops to permaculture classes, homeschooling groups, homesteading groups, the Waldorf community. There might be other kind of traditional skills classes that are a little different than this fellow does. There could be nature reconnection groups. Maybe the Wim Hof group, people who like to go swim in cold water, maybe would also have an interest in extending into nature in another way. There could be all sorts of different categories of hubs. And survivalist groups, conspiracy theory groups, I don't know, people who might have some interest in this. Herbalists, folks who are interested in that. Men's groups, women's groups. So you see what I'm saying? They're coming back, but they also come very easily because I know what this is. This isn't somebody saying, I want to be everything to everybody. This is somebody who's got a very specific type of thing they want to offer. And so then we work backwards and we say, okay, who might be into that? And for niching, this is an example of niching based on the what, not on the who. Sometimes we start with the who and we think, okay, I work with this group of people who are struggling with this particular problem and I help them get this particular result. But you can also say, I've got this very specific thing I want to offer. In this case, this is a very specific thing. And so we had all these ideas, but what do you do with it? Great, so now you've got a list of the general places that maybe you might find them. Festivals was another one. There might be certain festivals, primitive skills festivals. Also just festivals where more of these hippies go, who might have some draw. Maybe you could go do a workshop, right? But what do you do? Well, it's going to be different, as you can hear, based on all those possibilities. If it's a yoga studio, it might be that they bring him in to do a little evening talk, a little evening workshop, a signature talk. It might be the same for a holistic food store. Maybe they host talks. A local bookstore might be the same. The library was one, he said, because this is where he'd gone to some workshops and he's hosted and had a good response. You're going to know your local community and what the hubs are. Now, this one's a local example, so I'll stick with the local, but of course there are corollaries to all of this online. So you have to think category by category, what is the likely connection partnership going to be? But here were some general ideas we came up with. So first of all, what I suggested to him, as I suggest almost everybody, have a signature talk, have your intro workshop, have something that communicates the core of what you do. Here's who I am, here's my story, here's what I do, why I do it, here's my core philosophy around the thing, and have that available. It doesn't mean you can't have multiple talks, but at least have one that conveys the real essence of it on whatever topic you think is going to be most popular, will be best received. So that's number one, just have that ready. But then I said, if you build relationship, first of all, you map out all these hubs. This is the most important thing. Don't just have it in your head as a list you can rattle off. Have it in a spreadsheet. Yeah, and you might even have one tab in a spreadsheet for each of those categories I listed. But you start to actually map out not just festivals, but which festivals. Not just health food stores, but which health food stores. So you get very specific. And as you can imagine, even in a small area, with all those categories listed out, we're talking dozens, at the very least, hundreds likely of specific hubs, Facebook groups, hashtags, or other hubs. So you make these lists, right? You make these spreadsheets. And then you just go, okay, first of all, you make the list. And then you're going to want to build relationships with these hubs. And there's a lot of ways to do it, so I'll give a few. One, he could just invite these people over for dinner or out for coffee or to go for a walk. Just, hey, I heard about your work. It sounds amazing. I do this stuff around foraging, taking adults into nature. And it just seems like, we're reaching the same people. I'd love to learn more about what you do. And here's what you can say to people, which is also true, is your people are going to be asking for referrals, or they'll need help in things you don't do. So maybe for this fellow, he likes taking people into nature to forage, but he's not interested in teaching people how to make tinctures. But somebody might say, how do I make medicine from this? And maybe he doesn't do that and he can refer them out. Or they bring up, we're thinking of getting some land, and are there any permaculture courses in this area? It'd be helpful for them if he actually knew, and knew the good ones, knew which ones to recommend. So if you are going to be getting into business long term, you're going to become a hub, whether you like it or not. And just, do you want to be a good hub or not? And the more connections you have, the better. Just as I've been here, I was going to present here last year, and I bailed last minute. Long story, but I just couldn't come. But it left them in the lurch, me as one of the presenters. And so I reached out to them, and I just, about a month ago, and I said, look, I've been planning on this, wasn't sure it was going to happen, but I'm going to be coming to the UK. Use me however you want to use me. No charge at all. I'm just hanging out. I'll do whatever you want me to do as a way to make up for bailing on you last minute. And so I came, here I am, and I've been doing these one-on-one sessions with people, and there's been quite a variety. Somebody started one of the most sustainable beer companies in the world, little craft beer thing, which burned down. He's rebuilding it. Another woman and her brother have a heating company. There was all sorts of them. And I was telling you this because oh gosh, the thread will come back. Something to do with hubs. Forgive me. But right, so you have the list of the hubs. You start to connect with them. Right. You start to reach out. You start to build these connections. And oh yes, right, because you want to know who to refer out to. That's what made me think about it. Is a number of these people I've been referring to colleagues. I've been saying, look, I can't help you, but this person can help you. Here's a book you should check out. Here's a website. Here's a consultant that might be just perfect for you and what you're doing. You're doing online courses. You should talk to Danny Inney. You're looking for a different style of marketing. You might want to check out Danny Gardner and her book, Quiet Marketing. I've been able to pass these things on because I'm aware. I don't think I'm the best hub that's ever hubbed in the marketing world, but I've been noticing it happening. And so this is something we can take more seriously, and we become more respected, more connected. Yeah. So he starts to meet with these people, let's say, and just mapping the scene out. So that's one thing you can do with hubs. First, map them out. Second, just meet them. Go for coffee, connect. Third thing you can do is you could host a hubs gathering. I don't know how many people do this, but this is a great idea. I'm giving you gold here. Once a quarter, especially because he's local. So once a quarter, why don't you just host a get-together with hubs? A get-together where it's 3 hours in the afternoon maybe. First hour, just hanging out, potluck, or you feed them, cater it. Second hour, you do a go-around, no more than 25 people, but you do a little introduction circle go-around where everyone introduces themselves. And then you hang out after, something like that. I was going to turn off my Wi-Fi. One sec. Oh dear. Can I do that while I'm... Yes. Sorry, I just didn't want to... Realized if somebody called, it was going to kill this video. So that's it. It sounds so simple, yeah, to host a hubs gathering, but the pitch is this. You say to them, look, we all reach the same people. I do these foraging things with adults, but you're an herbalist and you're a permaculture person and you teach basket weaving and you teach hide tanning, and I don't do those things, but my people would probably be interested. It just seemed to make sense that we should meet each other so we can know each other. You see what I'm saying? They're not coming for you. They're coming for the networking. But if you did that once a quarter, that's a lot of work, but if you did it once a quarter, you would quickly become the biggest hub in that area. At the end of a year, you would know kind of who's who, and they would all know you. They're not all going to remember each other, but they will all remember you because you're the host. And if he's bringing them to his property, yeah, even better. And if he feeds them, even better. Number 4, we started talking about maybe they could do a festival, and a festival being like a day of workshops, a day of TED Talks, where all these people come together, but maybe you get 5 or 6 he picks his favorite people, and they all promote it to their list, and it's like a local summit. Some of you are familiar with that model, but you just say, look, if you don't promote this, you don't get to participate. Because we're trying to get as many people there, because then we all win. And of course, he would win as well, because he's the host. But everybody wins. The community is built more strongly. People get to meet each other, etc. Number 5, as he builds relationships with these hubs, he could also do a signature talk that he hosts once a year to his own list. But he reaches out to the hubs and says, hey, I'm in January, I'm doing this workshop. Would you please promote it to your list? Would you please let people know about it? Could you spread the word? And that would probably guarantee once a year he gets a very full house, and maybe he does it twice, 2 different nights, but he gets a very full house, and that intro workshop might set him up for the whole year. 6th, he could also reach out to these hubs and say, hey, would you be willing to just email your list about my program directly? The intro talk's probably better and easier because easier to get people there, but he might also get their help, say, hey, our friend is doing this workshop or this year-long program for adults, and if you're interested, go check it out. He could do that where he pays them a little bit if they sign up or not, up to him. But all of this starts with hubs, the hub marketing. Instead of him just trying to reach people cold, or burning out his list by going back to that same list over and over and over again until they're sick of hearing from him. Instead of that, he could be building these relationships. So you're building community, you're building partnerships, while simultaneously you're becoming more and more known by the people who matter most in your community. There's the old adage, it's not what you know, it's who you know, but we can take that a step further. It's not what you know. It's not who you know. It's who knows what you know. And if every single hub in that community knew about this fellow and the work he was doing and had some positive feeling about it, that's most of his marketing handled. Yeah. Even just from the passive word of mouth of people knowing who to send people, oh, you go talk to him. Yeah. That is the foundation. That's the basis. Now, taking it online, there's a whole different set of strategies, but you can take almost everything I said and just translate it in a different way to online, and it can still work and work very well. Of course, most of my business is online. And if you're torn between, gosh, but do I do social media or do I do this? You do this. The hub marketing works much better. I'm on social media. I enjoy it. There are reasons to do it in terms of giving people a safe way to check you out from a distance to see if you're a fit. That's great. But in terms of getting clients, the quick thing, if you said, I only have it, I want to get clients in the next year, not in years down the road, I would just say stop all social media. You want clients right now, you do the hub approach. I mean, first of all, you go to your list and you see what's the most you can get there, but then you start finding out where do your people hang out. So, of course, I got this hub marketing semester coming up, and that starts in early October. You can go to marketingforhippies.com /events. You can learn more info, but I'll put more info also in the text below where you can see if it's a fit or not. And feel free to just email me, tad@marketingforhippies.com. I'm happy to send you more info on it. But this is only once a year that we do it. It's $100 US a month, and you get it happens in the membership, so there's no additional costs. It's just $300 US for the semester in total, and then you get everything else in the membership too. But we're going to be digging deep into this hub marketing. If I had to give sort of 4 things to focus on in hub marketing, there's sort of 4 categories. One is we focus on the word of mouth marketing. So for this fellow who does the foraging stuff, with word of mouth, there's 3 keys. You got to make make it worthwhile for people to spread the word, which means thanking them, means keeping track of how people hear about you. So as people sign up for his foraging, oh, you can hear they're just wrapping up the session. Everyone who signs up for his foraging workshops, he should ask them, hey, how did you hear about me? And thank those people. So that's one thing. You got to make it easy for people to spread the word. So you create a very simple, easy to remember URL. Nothing tricky, nothing clever, just memorable. It could be just foragingwakefield.com. That's it, that type of thing. Easy. Third, you got to make it remarkable. So of course, there's a quality thing. You got to really focus on how do I make this program so good that people want to talk about it? How do I wow people? That's the fundament. But anyways, so that's all within word of mouth. That's one thing we focus on. That'll be the first week of the semester. Second thing you got to focus on are the referral systems, and we didn't even get into that. But for example, whenever he does one of his signature talks, that's the other thing he could be doing, is those people could bring him in to do signature talks, like in living rooms, in a community hall. Hey, you do, you're a yoga teacher, but you think your people might be drawn to this? Okay, well, can we meet at your yoga studio? Can I do a workshop there? Perfect, and they bring him in. So he could tour this into a workshop and make it better and better and better all the time. But every time he does it, and every time you do a workshop, especially if you're starting off, one of the things I would urge you to do is, on a feedback form, just ask people directly, who should I talk to? Who are the hubs? Where do I find more people like you? They will tell you. They're going to give you great ideas. People love being helpful, especially if they've received something useful from you. They're going to want to help you back. And so then you figure out who the hubs are. So it's so simple, yeah? But so that came to mind because referrals are such a thing. Your existing clients are going to be the source of so many other clients, just regardless of if you do anything, even if you're passive. But if you become active, if you think of structures and ways to make it easier for your clients to spread the word, if you ask them directly for help in spreading the word, even more. And most businesses not only don't have any formal systems, they don't have any informal systems, they make it very hard for the clients to spread the word. They don't even think about it. Third, hub marketing, just approaching new hubs, right? So we just got, how do we make our business more word of mouthable? Then how do we set up referral systems? But third, how do you figure out where your clients already are and approach those people as hubs so that they could host you, bring you in, etc. And then fourth, the least important, but not bad to have it, is some capacity to do the cold approach, which I generally don't recommend, but every once in a while you're just going to have to, especially hubs, you may have to approach cold. They don't know you. Sometimes there'll be a potential client that's just worth reaching out to or talking to, and it's good to have some skill and some sense of how do you approach in a way that's not going to create resistance and defensiveness. So there you go. Let me just, I'll save this example for another video about the beer company and what they're doing locally to get more clients. It's a good one, but some ideas came up. Another video for another time. We're already at 22.5 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear your comments below, and we'll see you down the road. Take care, everybody. Oh, of course. If you like this video, please subscribe. Please share it with your friends. Please post it in Facebook video and in groups that you're involved in. If you like it, it does help more people to see it. And of course, check me out. marketingforhippies.com is my website. Take care, everybody.